some of the parts of the election process that may not have gone as well as you anticipated for the test, and mainly, I guess, for the student council debate. That was a process that lasted about 2 weeks, and yeah, that gives you enough time to forget things. So I'm going to define these words for us. We're going to start with nominations, not originally one step of the election process mentioned in your booklet. Nonetheless, it's something that we need to know about. Nominating is like dropping votes into a bucket. It's essentially choosing someone as a candidate for a job. Okay? We did this. It was our first step when we had our ballot, our full sheet of, or full list of candidates for our 2 student council reps, and you voted for 3 or 4. The next one is primaries. Primaries are essentially the same thing, and this definitely took place at our Shattuck election process, and it's where you appointed a delegate or candidate to be on the ballot. So that was it was our first election process. This is a little different than a caucus. Caucuses happen in Iowa, as you can see the state there. It's kind of a unique thing. It's not really done in many places or states. It is basically where people right here get together in groups or in meetings assigned to particular political parties like Democrats and Republicans, and they register, which is essentially voting their preference for a candidate. So the only difference there is that it's an official meeting where people gather. In a primary, people just show up and vote and leave. That's the difference. In a general election, which typically happens in a larger setting, a candidate is elected for a duty or a job. And this is what really happened after our visit in the auditorium, hearing our 4 candidates talk about their strengths for the job as a student council rep. So we can see that here. Everybody kind of votes for the one position. Popular vote. This is also known as the people's vote. And we know that when we're 18 years old, we get to vote in presidential elections, in governor elections, mayor elections. It is on all levels. And typically, whoever gets the most votes earns the prize or the position in government. At a national convention, this is kind of sidetracking a little bit, it is this picture right here. It is where a major gathering for a political party takes place, for the Democrats or for the Republicans. There's really not a significant third party like independents or libertarians. They're just so small that they don't really stand a chance of winning. The 2 parties that typically have a gathering of a major political party where a person is officially nominated as a candidate, especially for presidency, is the Democrats and Republicans. The Electoral College. I'm going to pop up this picture here, give us an example. We'll talk more about this later on, but what you need to know for now in the election process is that this did not happen in our Shattuck election. It did not happen. It is where a group of people that are pre-selected pick a candidate. They're supposed to base this on the popular vote. And in some elections, or in most, that does actually happen. But they are selected to cast votes for presidential elections. In some elections, like the 2016 election, the popular vote does not match the electoral vote. Let's take a look. President Donald Trump won 290 electoral votes, Hillary Clinton 232 electoral votes. We know that Trump earned presidency in that year. If we look down here at the popular vote, Clinton actually had a bigger percentage, about 1 million more votes in total. Okay? So it doesn't always go as planned, and that's because some states are super large and they win by a large margin. And in smaller states, even though Donald Trump won many of them, he won by a smaller margin. More on this to come, but what you need to know about Electoral College is that it is a group of pre-selected people that actually vote for presidential elections. This was not in our Shattuck election. All right, moving on. Lobbying. Lobbying is this picture. It is acting in a way to attempt to influence the actions, policies, or decisions of voters. Usually it's done with money. It doesn't have to be, though. In Shattuck Middle School in our election, we could not use money to influence the vote. That would be highly illegal, and Mrs. Furnetwin would probably get rid of me. In any case, lobbying did take place. Think about if you saw any campaign signs. That is really an attempt to influence your actions, right? But not with money. And if anybody talked to you during lunch about voting for a particular person, that is also a form of lobbying. Finally, we have campaigning. This was definitely in our Shattuck election as well, because people or groups organized activities to help reach a goal, right? We knew that AJ Price, Tyler G, Macy S, and Drew, they all had groups of people helping them try to win election. In fact, some of them helped film their campaign videos. Was this in the Shattuck election? You bet it was. All right, now that you've watched all of these terms kind of come to life through pictures and be redefined for you, you should be set, if you need to take the little test on the election process or on how primaries and caucuses are different. Please see in Schoology for that actual test or retake. Good luck.